Our warm-up for our 11v11 age groups this week is going to be a short and diagonal passing warm-up. So it might look complicated on first glance. I promise you, I have young players get this down each season. So the model we're simulating is the distance between a 9, a 10, that could also be an 8, an 11, and a 7. So in this warm-up, I have 6 different cones that you'll see here, alternating between orange and yellow. So the ball will start on the center cone toward the bottom of our 6 cones. Our 10 will play up to our 9. Our 9 will lay off so that our 10 can receive the ball. And then our 10 will play a short diagonal out to the 11. As we do this, we're just going to follow our passes. So there will be a second in line at this cone who replace the 10. The 10 is going to go to the orange cone. The 9 goes to where that diagonal is played out to. The 11 will then play down to the cone that they are facing, and that player will then play a long diagonal out, and then the ball will come back, and we're always just following our passes. So I'll go through it one more time. So the ball comes back and resets here. But the idea is that we're playing, if I can even take these off the board for a second, so we're less focused on the positions and more focused on the pattern here. The ball is starting on this cone. The first pass is going up. The second pass is coming back about halfway on a set pass. The third pass is going out on a short diagonal. The fourth pass is coming back down the line, resetting. If we think about an 11 resetting maybe to a 3 in support, maybe they're even tucked in a little bit in the half space here. That player is playing a long diagonal then out into the opposite channel, and the ball is coming back down to support, and then we reset at the first cone. So we'll run through that a few times, but players will get it. First pass goes up, second pass is set back, third pass is a short diagonal, fourth pass comes back on a reset, fifth pass is a long diagonal from the left channel to the right channel. The fifth pass is just going to reset us back to the original cone. The next game we'll play will be a 3-goal game, so you'll notice that there are 3 cone goals. We did a variation of this last week on each end line. When we have 2 team sessions, we'll make that at the half line. It'll look a little bit different for 3-team or 4-team sessions. But we'll have 3 different cone goals that each team is attacking. We have an orange team and a neon team, a yellow team in this case. What we're going to see a lot and what we want to really start working on this week is a player in the center channel, in this case player number 9, who has the ball at their feet and just wants to go forward. So what we're trying to understand now is we can't go forward if we can't go sideways, because we have numbers from the defensive team that are blocking these gates, or blocking our access in the channel. We can either play a direct diagonal out when we have width, that's the importance of our 11 and our 7, or we can play back to play the diagonal and score through a wide gate that way. So this is a constant game of moving between channels, as there is 1 goal in each channel, and we're always looking for our 6 and our 10 to be in positions to support a switch of play so that we can change channels and then find these passes into the wide channels to score when space is inevitably vacated, right? As defenders move toward the ball and space is vacated, our 9 keeps height, and we're looking to pivot and be able to switch into an available channel. Let's talk through the big idea in our 11v11 shape. So again, I won't refresh on the numbers. I know we've done this a number of weeks, and you can reference the initial 11v11 team shape video that I shared at the beginning of the season. But the general concept is that when we're in possession of the ball, we should be occupying as many channels and thirds as possible while keeping our team squeezed together. So you might hear me say squeeze on occasion. When I say squeeze, it means that if the ball is in our attacking third and our back line is up, we need to step this line up and squeeze our shape a little more together vertically so that we're able to cover a little bit more ground and there's not an enormous gap between our midfield and our back line, for instance. If I say pinch, we'll worry about that more as a defensive instruction, but that's going to call numbers in when I say pinch. In any case, big thing we're concerned about is finding our diagonal passes. So any scrimmage I've observed, I'm going to put some orange players down as defenders. Just consider these jersey numbers, disregard these as positions. But a lot of the time, this point in the season, what we're seeing is when our 8's in possession of the ball, for instance here, We're having a 10 running right toward, a 9 running right toward, 11 running right toward, 3s running right toward. We still usually have this gap for some reason between like our 5. But we have very few opportunities with these players crowding around the ball to do what I'll call change channels to keep it worded simply. You may just call it switching channels or changing the point of attack. Changing channels is 2 words I can use that's pretty direct. So again, if we have a left channel, center channel, and a right channel, we get a lot of these shin guard battles where the ball stays in the same channel and players have no option to go forward or sideways really. So it's understanding how we can reset back on angles. So ideally, when this team shape looks like this, defensively, we've compacted our opponent. We want our 6 to always be available, as a general rule of thumb, about 45 degrees away. So ideally, our 8 in this case would be able to find our 6, and our 6 would be able to play the diagonal out to our 7, and then our 7 would be able to attack from there. I'll give a more specific attacking pattern in a moment, but it's really understanding our pivot position. Similarly, if our 6 was on the ball and this pressure was stepped into the middle third of the field, maybe at travel levels, players are playing a mid block, it's understanding that we can use our center backs as well to reset on about a 45-degree angle and play a pivot, or reset and play a long diagonal out into the channel. But we shouldn't be directly behind these players because it takes away our angles when we're trying to support on a pivot. So ideally, we're keeping these 45-degree angles roughly. Again, our midfielders are working together to show support. Our 9 is working, as we'll show in a moment, to anchor the back line, but it starts with understanding the positions that are in the spine of our team shape, so our center backs, our 6, our 8, our 9 when we play at height, and then you can also do this on our keeper if they're stepping up into a high press on our opponent. We have to understand that if my 5's in possession, instead of getting a shin guard battle here, maybe my keeper operates as that pivot player and we're finding the V off of our keeper. Now I'd mentioned this I believe last week as well, but one pattern I really want to start looking for at the 11v11 level is understanding how and when our 9 anchors a back line, because teams tend to operate similarly. It's not a lot of rocket science in youth soccer, it turns out. So center backs, the 4 and 5 in this case on orange, will usually compact on the 9. Their number one concern obviously is this 9, the highest player in our team shape, the most central player getting into box, so they're most aware of that player. So a lot of times at this level, we're playing up to a 9, and that 9 is trying to turn, but doing so unsuccessfully and being dispossessed because that 9 is turning into a compacted defensive shape. That 9 is crucial though to holding height and anchoring these center backs. So one thing we want to start looking for is our 9 to operate between the half spaces in the center channel and occupy the center backs and drag these center backs with them. So theoretically, we can play a ball up to our 9. We don't have to go out into the wide channel here. This is actually good because it compacts a team shape. And then our 9 lays off to a 10 who's making a run. And then our 10 plays this ball out into the wide channel after the opponent's team shape is compacted. And then we have a 7, in this case, available in the right channel, able to attack zone 18 and touch the ball in. The big thing from here, so I'm pretty confident we can start to find these diagonals, but the 7, oftentimes, for inexperienced players, is going to be really tempted to send in a cross, either A, before we have numbers in the box, or B, as we're getting numbers into the box, either directly to the keeper or too far ahead of the runner, because we're playing the ball in the same direction the runner is going, but we're playing a pass that moves faster than the runner. So what I would like to start seeing us do with these teams at this level is getting our wide players, our 7, our 11, to the end line, whether they're beating or whether they're taking that space just like that, or whether that 7 receives that long diagonal and then has to beat this 3. We talked about our 1v1s in week 1. That is the safest place in the world to try a 1v1. We have all this cover behind us if we lose possession of the ball. So our 7 getting to an end line and creating the most dangerous pass in soccer, which is the cutback cross. So when we're creating a cutback cross, our 7 and 11 are trying to get on the edge of the box and get toward the end line. If they can keep dribbling in, great, from the end line. We want our 9 to be making a run toward the 6-yard box and our 9 to be making a run central, favoring the far post just a little bit. We want our 11 to be arcing their run to cover as that ball comes across. If it gets played across face, we can have the wider angle to the far post for the tap in. We want our 10 to be making a run toward the 6-yard box, toward the penalty spot. We want our 8 to be into the box. We want our 6 to be top of box. And then we want, of course, our back line push to support. with the focus of not letting anything get between them. So in this case, if the ball is in the right channel, our 2 could be up to support, our 4 is sliding, 5 is sliding, 3 is sliding. We have to know our players to understand the risk of a counterattack and how far we want to push those players. But it's important that we do have a team shape then that is getting numbers toward the box. And that just comes from compacting an opponent's defensive shape, playing that diagonal, and then creating the cutback cross, which is a combination we'll want to seek out increasingly more often at the 11v11 game.